it's a lifesaver for us. It's going to keep a lot of small companies in the circle that otherwise would be looking at different kinds of exit strategies.
We view e-commerce as a natural extension of your ERP platform into the world of digital commerce. You can't have one without the other.
As a company, our mission, actually it's in our mission statement, is to really support and enable independent distributors to be successful online.
Huge success with our distributors in terms of revenue, in terms of their customer experience, in terms of finding products. And it really is the future of e-commerce.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken Thompson, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. The session today is all about digital transformation in the supply chain, and more specifically, the supply chain as it affects the welding, gas, and supplies distributor. Everybody among our group understands that our welding, supply, and gas distributors are roughly 50% hard goods and 50% gases. Their ERPs were designed primarily to deal with their gas business, keep up with their assets, and manage the tracking of cylinders. So they weren't equipped in the same way to jump into e-business interfaces. What you're going to hear today in both a pre-recorded and on-site discussion is what that path looked like. And so we'll run through that process, how we got where we are, who the players are, what the pipeline looks like down the future, and a little bit of the story as to how it occurred. And the drill that we'll use this morning will be a remote presentation started by David Schaer, CU's president, how he interconnected and collaborated with a front-end e-business platform, ES Tech, and Dave Bent will talk about that part of the program. And then the third piece is always the content. And while content has been fairly common and available through a lot of the hard goods players, dealing with content in gases was a little bit different. And so Matt Christensen of DDS will talk about how the gas content came along, finished up the package that the gas and welding distributors now have to deploy into their e-businesses. So rather than eat up a lot more of your time, what I intend to do now is to first say thank you for allowing me to be part of the program, and second, to pass the first piece to David Schaer, CU's president, and ask David to kind of talk to us about the path, the journey he was on, and how this ended up where it is today. And David will pass this on from there to Dave Bent and then on to Matt Christensen. So thanks so much for allowing me to do the intro. David Schaer, I'll pass it to you. Thanks a lot.
Well, Ken, thanks for the introduction, and also thanks for framing the challenge and the opportunity, with strengthening the channel. And I think you're a big part of this success. So I think we all on the call today want to just express our gratitude for all the support and guidance and insight that you provided, throughout a number of years. So we are deeply grateful for your insight and your support, ongoing support. As a quick background, CU is one of Montana's leading software companies with over 4 decades of experience developing integrated software solutions. Our flagship product is called TIMS, stands for Total Information Management System. TIMS is the standard ERP platform used by industrial gas and welding supply distributors of all sizes. We believe that success with e-commerce starts with using a proven ERP platform to run your day-to-day business operations. We view e-commerce as a natural extension of your ERP platform into the world of digital commerce. You can't have one without the other. You need both. They both are extremely intertwined, and it's critical to have that mindset going into this. Now, when we take a look at the journey, how did we get here? It started back in January of 2020 And this was right before COVID happened. And so I think we're very fortunate to have this meeting in order to see the results that we've had so far. So in January 2020, we met with several of our key customers here at CU. And really, it was a collaborative discussion about let's come up with a plan to deliver a full-featured, very powerful e-commerce platform to meet their needs. So as a software development company, we always look at this in a couple different ways. It's really, do we build it or do we integrate a great third-party application? And sometimes we have to do both. In the case of e-commerce, that's what we've done. We have a simple e-commerce application we've had for many, many years that a segment of our customer base uses. But throughout these discussions, it was clear that we needed to go out and find a great third-party application in order to incorporate, the rich product functionality, robust marketing capabilities, dynamic searching, you name it. So that was really the conclusion of that meeting was we need a third-party solution. And so this wasn't our decision at CU, it was the customers. So the customers researched a number of leading e-commerce applications. And through a lot of demos and researching, they collectively decided that the ES Tech platform was the best solution to use. And so with that marching order, with that direction, CU got to work. And our role and our value add is to integrate that platform with TIMS using standard API interfaces. And thinking back, it was quite a journey. It took a lot of effort. The initial round of interface development took about a year's worth of programming to complete. And the interface is really focused around two major areas of integration that are really key in the digital world of tying an e-commerce product with an ERP solution. And the first is being able to have accurate and complete pricing and availability of products available onto the e-commerce platform. So when I mean consistent pricing, I mean when that customer logs on, they need to see their price, their tax, their delivery fees. They need to see visibility of availability across all locations. They need to be able to have multiple ways to pay for the product. They like to have order confirmation through email. And of course, there's the printing of the delivery ticket to be able to pick, pack, and ship the product out of the warehouse. And you have to have some additional logic based upon the type of product. Sometimes you want your gases to go to one location and your hard goods to be sourced out of another. So that's the plumbing under the hood that is really fundamental. And then the second major area of integration is all about customer account features. So just think about, you have a customer that traditionally would call you up on the phone or would be at your storefront and requesting a number of services. That same type of service needs to be expanded onto the e-commerce platform. So when we talk about customer account inquiry features, that becomes critical. The ability to view open orders, look at sales history, look at your open AR, look at proof of deliveries, look at your cylinder balances, all your ships and return transactions, or departmental tracking, as well as the ability to pay for those invoices online. So that's the customer service, the inquiry portion of the integration that we completed. So really, the overall goal is seamless customer service. It needs to be the same experience as if they were right there in front of you. So that's the integration portion. Another key area was just the partnerships. Partnerships are absolutely key to this. And so we have really strong partnerships here. There's no middleman or systems integrator to complicate things, which can lead to increased costs and complexity. It's great to be able to work, for example, Dave, with your team directly with your developers and your project managers, and they're working with our counterparts here at CU. That was absolutely key. We have similar company philosophies. That's another key element, I think, here. You want to partner with individuals and companies that share your same philosophies. And the feedback loop was really important too. So with every customer that's come on board, we have these kickoff calls, we have status calls. Once they're live, we get feedback to improve the API integration or to incorporate new features. And kind of last, Ken, you'd mentioned, what's been the uptake with this solution, and it's been very, very successful. Our first customer was General Distributing, which is also Montana-based independent distributor. They went live in April of 21. Today, I think we have 8, maybe 9 customers that are live and another that are in various stages of the implementation. So I think that the proof is in the results. It's been a long journey. This is several years in the making, but today we can, I think, confidently say that we have an incredible solution to strengthen the channel.
Very good. David, maybe I can pick up from your points. Dave Bent here. And as Ken mentioned in his intro, I head up the operations of a business under the umbrella of ECI, ES Tech Group. And our solution is Evolution X eCommerce. And I think as Matt and David and I, and working with Ken, kind of step back and say, okay, how can we help the industry here, the gas and welding industry? Individually, we can help, but I think everybody's talking a lot about digital transformation, and it can get very complex and overwhelming for an independent distributor. It can get very complex and overwhelming pretty quickly. So part of this is trying to break down the pieces. And so just from my side, I'll share the background of our business. We actually got started in business-to-business e-commerce back in 2006, which I guess in internet years is quite a while ago. And we started in the office supplies vertical, which was actually the earliest adopter of B2B e-commerce, driven really by Staples. But as time has progressed, we're now operating in obviously gas and welding, but we're in electrical and plumbing and HVAC and medical. And I think one of the things we see is these industries are at different levels of adoption. And I would say gas and welding is obviously still in the early days, but if you look at other industries, what you find is it's usually what I call the big box players, the national players, that ultimately drive adoption by independent distributors and dealers. And so I mean by that, Staples, as whom you all know, Staples drove it in office supplies. Grainger is driving it in industrial, along with MSC and Fastenal. WESCO in electrical, Ferguson in plumbing. These big names are national players, public companies. And in every case, they've been the early adopters. And what happens is over time, I think the independents realize they're losing market share to these online channels. And I think that's clearly happening, not really so much in the gas side of the business, but certainly in the hard goods side, where you just have to look at the results of the public companies, the MSCs and the Graingers, to see their growth, but they also are publishing, the percentage of business being done online, which is way into double digits. In most cases, it's 50%. So we've seen it in other industries. Independents begin to lose business, and certainly COVID is an accelerator of that, because people working from home go online and look for where they can get these products. And so as a company, our mission, actually it's in our mission statement, is to really support and enable independent distributors to be successful online. That is literally the mission of the business. We have about 500 customers on the platform, and coming together with David and working with Matt, I think we're fully aligned. That's David's business. It's independent distributors to the most part. And how do we make them successful? And so there's definitely the components, as David said, the ERP, the e-commerce, and then product content, product information that Matt will talk about in a minute is an absolute critical enabler online. And so we'll cover those points, but I think the progress we've made has taken a couple of years, as David said. And it takes a couple of years because digital transformation, again, one of the things where it does feel a little overwhelming, it means that information and processes and data are flowing end to end. And so if somebody's browsing on a website, obviously they've got to be able to see the product, see the information, select a product. But as they place an order, it's got to flow into the e-commerce. They probably need to look up their contract pricing. They need to look up inventory. And so that connection into the ERP is critical. And they're actually, what we always say, the best customer experience is what we're striving for. It turns into sales, and a lot of people think of e-commerce, okay, I've got to measure the sales, I've got to measure the sales. But what you're really trying to do is drive your customers to use an online presence, and that the winners actually create the best customer experience, meaning they can log in and it's a holistic opportunity to see the interaction with the supplier, meaning they can not only research and browse product, but they can come in, as David said, and pay off invoices, look up order history, order status, validate pricing, maybe do quoting. And so integration is everything, and that's certainly what we've been doing with David. And then for me, the exciting thing of being engaged here and talking to from the WEMCO side, it's only ultimately successful if the suppliers engage with the distributors, because it's an end-to-end digitization of capability. And so how do you create, as a supplier, as a manufacturer, you've obviously got multiple channels, but how do we really enable the independent dealer distribution channel to truly go digital? And that's really the passion I think we all have, and Ken has brought us together to really say, okay, what are the pieces of the puzzle? What's the role of the supplier upstream, and what does an independent distributor need to do? And so I think we've gained lots of experiences. As David said, we have about 20 gas and welding distributors signed up, and a number of them have gone live. I would say one of the learnings too is people talk a lot about technology and data, but the ultimate critical success factor is people. It's the people in the business, the salespeople in the distributor, being excited to help drive e-commerce adoption and not seeing it as a threat. And so there's a lot of calls we've done and presentations we've done around the people side of adoption of digital and adoption of e-commerce. What does it mean to the marketing team and the distributor? What does it mean to the sales team? And how do they engage their customers? Because the salespeople are the trusted advisor. So it is absolutely people, process, technology, and data. And if anybody has follow-ups, David is there, but we're happy to follow up and talk more about the people side of this and things we've seen work really well in a distributor, and things that haven't worked so well. So lots of lessons learned there. But this partnership, this three-way partnership here, and product data, working with Matt. We do work with the IWDC as well, who have a data initiative. But getting great product content onto the site is critical, because product content drives research on the site. It drives actual search, finding products. All of those things are super critical. And then I would say, just from a platform perspective, as you try to create the best customer experience, people will say it's got to be B2C-like, which is kind of true. It's got to be very easy and intuitive. But in B2B, people are looking for much more. It's more procurement than shopping. It's easy reorder of products. It's creating lists of products for maybe a job that is being executed. It is actually setting up procurement functionality where different people in an end customer can log in with different buying capabilities. Maybe somebody has to approve a budget or approve high-value orders. So as you think about the e-commerce part, it's got to be B2B procurement, and that needs to be enabled and connected, obviously, as David said, to the ERP. And so for us, I think the journey has begun. But if you look at adoption of e-commerce in the gas and welding space, there's still a really long way to go, especially with the smaller distributors. And we're working with a number of them, but it's obviously more overwhelming. Do you need a new marketing person? What does it mean to the sales team? And so part of this is, kicking off, sharing really what of the distributors who've adopted so far, how have they done? And I would say they've done really well, and are making great progress. But how do we help spread the word? And I think really importantly, how can suppliers engage and really see the independent channel as really still a very key way to market? And so that's the foundation of the discussion here. And Matt, I'll pass to you, because I think there's a key interaction that is well underway between your team and the suppliers, but I think it's critical that we keep building on that. So Matt, I'll pass over to you.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thanks, Ken, for having us. Thank you, David Schaer, for kind of putting this all together and helping all all of us be successful. And it's shocking how it's been 3 years. I thought it was 2, but crazy how time flies. So yeah, I just want to kind of I'll switch it up a little bit, really just talk about e-commerce product content and some of the issues that we see today and some of the solutions that are in gas and welding, both with distributors and manufacturers, as it relates to the product content, the rich product content information in e-commerce. So I think one interesting stat that I've seen is, and particularly to this industry, is that less than 40% of distributors display their overall product catalog. So all of the products that they have in CU, they're only displaying less than 40% of those products on their e-commerce site. And that really is due to the difficulty in obtaining the rich product data from their manufacturers. And the reason for that is, this is hard to believe, but every single manufacturer's information and file formats, column names, data within the product data itself is unique to individual manufacturers. And so, for example, if you look at Lincoln product data or Miller product data or Hypertherm product data, it is very different when you look at that side by side. Yes, it has images. Yes, it has descriptions and features and attributes, but the normalcy of that data is very different, and it causes great delays in kind of the digital e-commerce supply chain in working with that data and pushing that product data to e-commerce. Another reason manufacturers, and this maybe assume, but manufacturers don't have integrations directly to e-commerce platforms. And so a third party is needed to do that integration. So in order to take this varying disparate data from manufacturers and help distributors display all that information, technology is needed, APIs are needed, integrations are needed in order to facilitate that. And in gas and welding so far today, we have probably 150 different manufacturers that we have received content from directly from the vendor themselves. And out of those 150 different brands, there truly are 150 different formats of data, formats of files. And so it's very difficult for the distributors to use that. And people are surprised as well that there's no industry standards. And that's really the reason. There's no industry standards for exchanging product information. It's kind of Wild West, free for all. A lot of manual effort is done in terms of product data, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of Excel, and it just hasn't been an efficient process. And so that's kind of talking about the hard goods side of the business. The other side, really, important to distributors, is the gas products. And kind of the same stat, but 90% of distributors don't or haven't displayed individual gas products. And so on their websites, if you look at a lot of distributors historically, they may have a PDF with, here are the different types of gas, but it's not down to the individual gas itself. It's been maybe kind of hidden in CU in the ERP, but it's not displayed, hasn't been displayed on the website, even though that's 30 to 70% of a given distributor's revenue. So critical, something that has been missing from the industry that just didn't exist before. So what we did is we worked with industry experts in the gas and welding, gas business, some of our current customers, product experts within the gas, and we have created, and nobody's seen this yet except our customers, but the industry first gas creator wizard. And it's directly for e-commerce, and you can go through, create your individual gases, whether it's spec gas whether it's mixed gas, whatever type of gas that each individual distributor sells and has sold, they can easily, quickly create those products in this wizard, publish, and it immediately shows up on their ES Tech website. And that takes integration from all three companies because the data starts within the CU platform. The data then goes to DDS. DDS has the wizard. The distributor creates the product, and then through APIs, it is directly sent to the ES Tech platform. And that's something that didn't exist, even 6 months ago, a year ago, and especially when we started talking. But that's just the level of integration that we've been able to create. And it's resulted in huge success with our distributors in terms of revenue, in terms of their customer experience, in terms of finding products. And it really is the future of e-commerce. And it really is a next generation product data and product data experience that we're really trying to get rid of all this manual effort and manual spreadsheets and all the time that manufacturers have to spend and distributors have to spend, and really trying to help this industry and all of the wholesale type industries compete with Grainger and compete with Fastenal and compete with the big guys who have hundreds of people on the e-commerce and content teams, and be able to do this through technology. And that's really powerful through three companies that really work really well together. And it really was kind of pushed along by our friend Ken, and really doing what's right for the industry. And so just a little bit on product content. It's kind of one of the things that's forgotten and thought about last in terms of all of this digital transformation and e-commerce, but it's just absolutely critical. And it's critical for manufacturers to participate. It's critical for the brand awareness, for the customer experience, and it's critical for the future of e-commerce. So that's a little bit about product data.
And this is a lifesaver to our channel, because otherwise we were segregated into the hard goods on one side of it, the gases on the other side of it. We did not have a coordinated package to offer to the end user customer. And in those cases, the manufacturers who support us were fragmented. They didn't have a place to go to take the complete package to the customer. And so a lot of the products on the hard goods side would fall off on the way, and Grainger and MSC and Fastenal would be picking up those products. So the collaboration was important to get it all organized, so we have a way to do it. The content was essential. And when Matt brought the gas products into the portfolios, that made the welding supply distributor whole again as a consolidated source to market. So if you follow the principle that the hard goods gets the gases, or the gases gets the hard goods, this welding supply distributor channel was incomplete without that being a total picture. And this group of three has made that possible. And so all of a sudden, where we were threatened by the incomplete image we were presenting to end user customers, now has gone full circle. We're back where we were before digital transformation took place, and we can now offer the full package to end users. And it's a lifesaver for us. It's going to keep a lot of small companies in the circle that otherwise would be looking at different kinds of exit strategies.
Very good. Ken, I just also want to say thank you for being the champion here. Appreciate all the help you've brought to the group and to the industry.
Well, you guys have brought the talent, and if all we can do is provide the pipeline to get it to the right people, that's fine.